Hello, hello. This video is about spiritual creativity and imagination. Bombard them with beauty and madness. Bombard them with beauty and madness. What do I mean by that? Continue watching and listening. Maybe you'll see what I mean. Maybe not. It all depends on who you are. We're not all the same. We're not all the same. Spiritually speaking, we're not all the same. A lot of these other channels don't speak about the spirit. They'll talk about in their heart, in my heart, in the heart. They'll talk about their heart. I notice they don't talk about the spirit. The heart is an organ in the body. And I know they'll say, well, I don't mean that. I don't mean the organ. Well, then why are you using the word for the organ? I don't see anyone saying, in my liver, in my gallbladder. I feel it in my spleen, in my pancreas, in my kidneys, in my intestines. Do you understand? Do you understand? And some of them will say out of the New Age, well, the heart has an energy and a force, a field around it, and this and that, but the heart is going to be here when you leave your body, along with the rest of your body. It's flesh. It's a muscle. It's a pump. It may be more. It may have other abilities, but it's going to be on the ground or buried or burned up and cremated, either buried or cremated in most cases, unless it's underwater and rotting out that way. But that's what's going to happen to your heart, just like your liver, and your kidneys, and your pancreas, and your stomach, and your other organs. Your heart is an organ. But they're always speaking about, in my heart, in my heart. They never speak about the spirit, though. They'll just say they know in their heart when someone's wrong or bad or evil. And they condemn people using their heart. It's fascinating to me how most people don't pick up on that, how many, quote, truthers on channels talk that way. I'm not a truther. I don't group myself in with them. I'm not part of their so-called, quote, unquote, community whatsoever. I'm independent. I'm an individual. I am my own being. I have my own mind and my own spirit, my own thoughts, my own views. Independent. Most of them are a hive mind. You notice that? And when they try to be creative, it's almost always mockery of something or someone else. Almost always. I notice that pattern. And when they laugh, it's more like laughter directed at someone or snickering. It's really sick and sadistic and disturbed. It's another pattern I notice with these creatures on YouTube with channels. And a lot of times they'll say, oh, he thinks he's better because he thinks he's different. They want to be all the same. They have a lefty mindset, an LGBT type mindset, and the fake equality. We're all equal. We're all the same. We're all this. We think. We, like they got to go we somewhere. It's always we. They never say I, or I am, or I will. It's always we. A lot of them are lefties. They're very sensitive. They're up in their feelings. They think their feelings determine what's true or not in this realm. Their feelings change all the time. But they'll also say my truth and your truth. And your truth, well, that's your truth. My truth is this. They say all this shit, these lefty, new age, fake ass, quote, truthers. I don't even call them baby truthers. Some of them have been around for many years. But they're not trustworthy whatsoever. I don't trust them. I don't trust them. I don't trust anyone that vilifies independence and individuality and difference. Difference is beautiful. Difference is beautiful, man. How do I mean difference is beautiful? To be different, to be original, to be unique, and not derivative of someone else, not a copycat, not a follower, not someone trying to mimic others. To be one's own unique being. To be special, unique, one of a kind. These are not wrong. These are good things that have been vilified in this realm in recent years and decades especially. Maybe it wasn't always that way 100 years ago. I don't know. I wasn't around in this realm 100 years ago. But you know why Mozart is remembered? Because he wasn't the same. His genius was unique to him. That's what makes a great composer, a great musician, a great artist, a great poet, a great thinker, a great philosopher, someone who is original, unique, memorable. Not the same. Not the same as the rest. Not ordinary. Not a copycat. Sameness is actually beyond boring. It's very gross. Low level. Often it's detestable. Sickening, even. Would you get sick of eating the same food every single day if you lived another 40 or 50 years? Would you get sick of it? Because it'd be the same every day. The same food for breakfast, exactly the same for lunch, no difference, and dinner if you have 3 meals a day, and any snacks would just be smaller portions of the same food. And it would be impossible for you to get anything different. See, novelty, difference is the spice of life. Variety, novelty, difference. Being able to have something different. View something different. Hear some different music. Hear something that excites you because you never heard that song before or that band before. Or you've never seen a certain style or type of artwork or an artist's unique vision before. They brought something different, something novel, something unique, something special. Perhaps even something incredibly beautiful or incredibly deep, profound, moving. Something that stirs your spirit. Doesn't just make you feel good for the moment, but gets you remembering it years later, feeling it, remembering it, thinking about it. Something that stays with you, something enduring. I'm going to say that again. Something enduring, whether it's a novel or a painting or a poem or a song, or maybe even just part of a song, just a few lyrics from a song, or just a bass line from a song, or a certain guitar riff that stays with you. It's carried with you. It's not the same as everything else. It stands out. And so do some beings. Not everyone's from here, this realm of sameness. Sameness can be very sickening. It can be torturous for some. Beyond monotony, I don't want to work in a factory and do the same movement every day and assemble shit on an assembly line. I couldn't do that. I couldn't do that for one day. There are people in this realm that are like robots. They don't mind it. They'll say to that outside of their workplace. They could be at home and you could say, do you like your job? And you know that they assemble something somewhere and their boss isn't around. They can be anonymous and say, I hate it. And they'll say, oh, I love it. It's good pay. I don't mind. I just do my job. They don't mind the repetition, the repetitive nature of their job. The same thing every day. They don't mind. That doesn't bother them the way it would for me. We're different. We're different. And if I have to say that 1,000,000 times until I leave this realm, I'll keep saying it. We're different. We're different. We're different. Look at this image on the screen. Now, is that the same as some of the shitty artwork that you see on YouTube? No, it isn't. Is it fake AI created? Yes, it is. Yes, it is. It does lack a certain human element, a certain human touch, you might say, or spiritual touch. Maybe it does. But I'm going to drive this point home. I almost said if it kills me, it won't kill me, but it might wound some others in this realm to keep hearing it. Noise bothers me tremendously. Tremendously. Where I can't stand certain noises. I have a sensitivity to certain noises and certain light, etc. I can't stand lawnmowers running all day long. And weed trimmers, whether they're electric or gasoline powered. Stuff like that. All that kind of noise. It bothers me. Bothers me is an understatement. I have to get away from it a lot of times if I am somewhere where that exists. There's certain noises in this realm that make me sick. Now, if this place is so great and so well suited for us, why would that be the case? With me and with others. I'm not the only one. Arthur Schopenhauer, a philosopher, wrote about this topic long ago, many decades ago. I think it might have been in the 1800s. He wrote an essay on noise. It doesn't bother many of the masses that are mediocre with average intelligence or lower. The average mind is not bothered by that. They're average or lower, below average. Or they're mentally retarded. And they can smile away through anything when their IQ is, let's say, 70 or under. It doesn't bother them at all. Doesn't annoy them. With a lot of average people, it doesn't affect them. They don't even notice it happening. And they also don't have thoughts that are disturbed by the noise. They're not thinking, they're not daydreaming. If you ask some of them, some will even admit they don't have any thoughts. They don't have an inner monologue or inner dialogue or thoughts they hear, see. It's just empty. And if you say, what are you thinking about? When they say nothing, they mean nothing. There are no thoughts there. They have no ideas, no thoughts. They'll even say if they're not cleaning their house and watching a movie, there's nothing going on in their mind. It's just empty. They have to be either cooking or cleaning or doing something while they're at home, looking at a TV screen. But they can't just, let's say, sit on the edge of their bed or lay down and daydream and have thoughts and dreams and ideas and ponder things. They don't do that. There's a big percentage of the population, and there's been studies done in recent years proving this. And they admit it. There's videos of them admitting it. They are different than I am. In that way and in other ways. Noise doesn't affect them the way that it does with me. Look-alike acres is what I call the subdivisions that are just streets and streets and streets, and all the houses look the same. Often they're the same color. And the only thing that might be different if they have shutters or a color on the garage door, or some houses the garage is on the left side, others it's on the right. Slightly different floor plan variation. For the whole subdivision, it might be 3 floor plans for all of the streets. And if you remove the numbers from the homes and the street signs, you'd never be able to find, let's say, a friend's house or someone you want to visit, because it all looks the same. It's kind of like, it's worse than certain Hollywood movies. I wanted to say Edward Scissorhands, but I can't remember if some of the houses look different, but it just seems fake. It seems like you're in a surreal fake place when you're in these look-alike acres subdivisions. It's just hundreds of acres of houses, all the same. You can get lost. I grew up in a place where every house looked different. They were all different on my street. Almost all of them were custom. They weren't cookie cutter. They were unique. I didn't need to know the number on a friend's house to know where they lived, because everyone's house, you could picture it in your mind and walk to it and recognize it. People could visit my house, my mom's family, cousins, relatives, and later on my cousins, the younger ones that were around my age, could visit without even knowing. They knew what street I lived on, the name of the street, but they could just drive down the street and, oh yeah, that's their house. Very recognizable. Okay? Very different. Unique. Houses didn't all look the same, like they do today for the most part. There's a huge push for sameness, and sameness is a control mechanism on minds and spirits. And I know the lefty truthers will put their hand over their heart and say, what about our hearts? What about our hearts? They always talk about the heart, never the mind or spirit. Or they vilify, some of them outright vilify the mind, as Ian has been doing. He says the mind is evil, the mind is the enemy, thoughts are the enemy, he says. I love my mind. I love my daydreams and my thoughts. It's part of who I am. I don't vilify my mind or my thoughts. I'm not at war with my thoughts or my own mind. I love my imagination. I love having creativity and daydreams. Being able to imagine worlds like what you see with the sky, that looking like a cosmic storm in a sense. Some of these images on your screen that I'm sharing with you. I can imagine things like this in my mind without sharing it with you, without you seeing it. But I was trying to represent some of the things, something close, similar, we'll say, to things that I can imagine. I have inner worlds, inner realms. I'm a heretic. I daydream. I have an imagination. I'm different. I'm not the same as everyone around. A lot of them act like robots. They're trained monkeys. They go to work every day and do the same thing and come home and they dream of nothing. They don't have thoughts or daydreams. They're not like me. We're different. We're different. We're different in terms of minds, daydreams, imaginations, personality, how we process this world and see it, how I feel. My intuition is different from theirs. I'm different in every conceivable way. And there's a huge push in this realm to destroy difference, to destroy individuality and independence and independent thought and ways of being and likes and dislikes and tastes. Some people view me as a bit idiosyncratic. Some view me as a little bit eccentric. Some have said in person that I'm an angel, not just one person, including neighbors. Some ex-girlfriends have said I'm a little prince or doll face or dreamy-eyed. I am different. I'm not the same as everyone. I'm not the same as these evil-eyed creatures on YouTube. This should be obvious, but it isn't to many, unfortunately, for them. I'm not saying it because it hurts my feelings. I got beyond that long ago. I don't think you can hurt my feelings at this point. I've made myself so strong. Can you say things that I perhaps disagree with strongly or dislike? Yeah, but hurt my feelings? I'm not sure that any of you could do that to me at this point. But I know that I am different. I have that knowing. The way that I see this realm and see realms beyond here, I can imagine realms that don't exist yet. Okay? And I will dream them into existence. With the power of my mind, my imagination, my will, my intention, and my spirit. I will create places that don't currently exist, have not existed yet. I know I will. It's a knowing. I will also do things to this realm that a lot of you just can't visualize or imagine. It's another part of me. I visualize. I'm not saying no one else can do this, but the average person that I've spoken to my whole life doesn't seem to be able to do these things or care about these things. They have no care for it. Or they doubt that I can do it. They're very doubtful. There's a lot of doubtful idiots in this realm that when you're speaking truth and sharing truth with them, they doubt you. But they believe liars and evil. That's the other side of the coin. They're messed up. They're foobar. I can't fix them. I can't help them. And I don't pretend that I can. They're fucked up beyond all repair. They're fucked. They're fucked. And that's just on the surface. Deeper, I can't see exactly and know for 100% certain what their spirit is, but I can tell it's different from mine. I'm not saying they don't have a spirit. That's another common thread or theme on YouTube with these fake truthers, quote truthers. They talk about most of the world being just NPCs. They're NPCs. NPCs. We need our copes. Our copes. Our copes. They just repeat the same shit. Copes and calling everyone NPCs. They're saying that everyone doesn't have a spirit, just them. Or soulless. They don't even use the word spirit. They say soul all the time. So they're different from me in that way as well. They're very different. I think the soul is what connects the body to this realm. It's more like an anchor or tether. I don't think the soul's a good thing. I'm a spirit. I'm a being. I don't need this body to exist. I don't need a body. I don't need this meat suit or a body at all. In other words, a different body from this one. I don't need it. I don't want to go from this body right into another one. That's not my plan. That's not my goal. I can imagine realms where beings there would say, if I was describing this place, they'd look wide-eyed and say, what is suffering? What is disease? What are these things that you're speaking of? Asking me whether I'm named Stephen or something else. Telepathically having a conversation with other beings and them saying with wide-eyed astonishment and also perhaps a bit of just confusion in a sense. What are these things? Disease. They've never heard of it or experienced it. Pain, suffering, disease, illness. What is evil? And they'd be maybe curious, but maybe also repulsed by it. Just like, how could that exist? What would create that? And them almost being sick in a way, curious, but still sickened by the thought that something would create realms full of evil like what we experience here. And beings in another realm outside of this fucked up matrix would say, how can that be? Why? What would make that? What would create evil? And a whole realm? And demons and beings that want to cause you harm when you're a child? That wanted to harm you? That wanted to hurt you? That wanted to control you? That wanted to destroy your daydreaming nature, your imagination? That wanted to crush your spirit? That did all they could? How could that be, Stephen, that there be anywhere like that? How could any place like that, excuse me, how could any place like that ever exist? Why would it exist? And some of them may even logically and with compassion and understanding and empathy in a spiritual way, not in a new age way, say, places like that should not exist. Without ever coming here, some of them might come to that logical, rational conclusion that a realm like this should not even exist, and they didn't have to go through this hell to come to that understanding. There might be intelligent beings out there capable of doing what almost no one in this realm seems to be able to do. In this realm, they have to learn the hard way, almost everyone. has to suffer in major ways, and they don't care about suffering until they suffer. And then there's millions and millions here that do go through suffering and loss, and they'll even lose children and never understand this realm, how bad it is. They'll just forget it and move on, or they'll take the hurt but not look beyond and not look at the realm and say, wait a second, why are there so many deaths of children here in horrible ways? Parents that have to grieve their children. They don't look big picture. Almost no one in this realm does that. It's a realm of small thinkers and small view, small picture view, almost never beyond their own doorstep. Or if they're thinking big, they might think about someone else in their town. I mean, that's big thinking for them. Or think a little bit about their state or country. That's huge for them if they can think, well, this isn't good for our country if we leave our borders open. That to them, that's big thinking. But it's not big enough at all to figure out where you are. It's still mainstream normie stuff saying the borders should be guarded. We shouldn't just let the third world in, or we're going to pay for it. And there's going to be a lot more suffering and deaths and people losing their children and everything else. And violence and fear and less sense of home and safety and everything else. Just a huge cost to it. But that's surface level. That's easy to see. Even some normies see that. That's still not big picture. And yet it is thinking about their country, saying we have to have borders that are secure. Let's say in America. Otherwise, it's not going to be America very shortly. Same with Canada. Same with European countries. But again, this is just surface level still. That's not big thinking, big picture thinking. A lot of right-wingers would say, well, that's big picture. We're thinking about, no, that's not really big picture. That's easily done. That's just common sense. That's not big picture, high-level thinking or high-level truth. Okay? You got to start thinking about what this realm is and what's beyond here and why this exists and what's being done to you here. You and everyone else and animals and life eating life every single second of every day. And you also, I'm not saying that to make you down or depressed or sad or defeated. You got to just face it and acknowledge it and keep moving forward and get stronger with more knowledge, more insights, seeing more of the puzzle put together. It's about becoming stronger, Viking strong, and dreaming bigger. There's better than this. I want you to be able to dream of realms way better than this. Well, how so, Stephen? Well, let's start off. How about realms where you could go into a body, but you could leave that body anytime you want painlessly. And in that body, you don't have to eat other life. Let's go on with this. Let's say the waterfall here, see that waterfall, is singing. It sings to you. And it's creative. And it's conscious. Wouldn't that be wonderful? What if the colors were conscious and living and alive in a realm that you created, where it's not going to turn on you suddenly and stab you in the back like this place seems to do all the time? Okay? Where it's not going to just strike you down out of the blue with lightning if you happen to be standing somewhere or swimming and there's a lightning storm and you say, "Oh, I better get out of the water. It's lightning." Right? 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 It's that Tommy Truth Dodgers. Right? 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 King Stephen thinks he's King Cool with his harem. Anyway, I get under their skin, these demons. Imagine being able to control the clouds with your thoughts, with your mind, with your intentions. Be able to paint the sky with your mind. Be able to do all sorts of creative things where the colors are so vivid. And it changes. The sky isn't the same day to day. The sky isn't just blue or cloudy or overcast. The sky is many different things in this realm. Imagine that. Imagine being able to, with your intention, look at the mountains and be able to terraform them. Higher here, lower there. Play around with them. Be playful with your imagination. Be able to create with your mind. With your mind. I'm not telling you like Be like water. I'm not saying that. I'm saying something different than Bruce Lee. Look at this image here. Powerful. Facing the sky. Furious, furious beauty and colors storming. It's glorious. Magnificent. Gorgeous. Now imagine the feeling. Imagine being able to feel things that you can't even feel here. Feelings that you don't have a name for. Imagine difference. Difference. It's all different from here. And it's better than here. Better than here. Better. More beautiful. More intense. Without evil trying to ruin it and make it toxic sludge. And make it drudgery. And make it all the same. And attacking us. And trying to make us sick. And playing their sick games and making it toxic. And making it hard to breathe and everything else we endure in this place. Imagine it being amazing. Imagine it being breathtaking. And imagine being able to make it different and being able to see someone else's visions. Imagine being able to see someone else's visions. Your best friend, your girlfriend, your boyfriend, your husband. Your favorite cousin could be with you, standing with you. A lot of these images are standing alone facing the sky. But imagine standing there and saying telepathically to one of your loved ones, show me something. And they show you a sky and it takes your breath away. They create something before your very, we'll say eyes, but before your consciousness, before your spirit. You won't need human eyes to see this. Glorious, the glory. Imagine being able to swim in fire if you wanted to, and fly through the clouds, and dive and swim in deep oceans without having to require scuba equipment. You don't have to breathe. You just have adventures. You don't have to hold your breath. It's not uncomfortable. It's more dreamlike and beautiful. Imagine being able to do millions of things that you can't do in this sewer matrix of restrictions and limitations. You're more like a spiritual slave or a mental slave here compared to what you will be able to do. Do you understand? This is a realm of limitation, a realm of degradation, a realm of trickery, lies. You have a governor on your mind, your consciousness, okay, in this realm. Outside of this matrix, you'll be able to travel at the speed of thought, use telekinesis, use telepathy, do incredible things, create realms. I didn't say planets, you notice, but realms. If you wanted to create spinning ball type planets, I think you'd be able to do that as well if that's your desire. You'll be able to share beauty with others, including, let's say, beautiful dreams and beautiful creations, but beautiful feelings. Linking our consciousness and sharing in deep ways beyond what is possible here. Sharing love beyond what is possible here. I want you to dream bigger. I don't want you to be depressed and miserable and black-pilled like so many are on YouTube channels these days. And they're pushing for self-exit, and they're trying to do group self-exit. They're trying to bring people down. Look at this image here. Her consciousness is creating, it's storming with colors. She's beyond human. She's not just a human being in a meat suit, limited to a flesh meat suit with organs and all sorts of aches and pains and diseases and sleepless nights and tiredness and worry and stress and anxiety and all of the shit here. Imagine if that didn't exist. Can you imagine better than here? not just with landscapes and realms and aesthetic beauty, but all of it could be better than what exists here in this matrix, in this sewer matrix, in this hell realm. There might be other hell realms. There might be many, many levels that are hell and different kinds of hell in this matrix. But the goal is to get out entirely, to be free from this matrix, not to do what Ian and Lindis and others say, that there's nowhere else to go. They're programming you with fear and limitation. They're programming you. And I say there's better than this. And if it doesn't exist, even if we got outside of this matrix, by we I mean a small group of us, that I think have the potential to do it. Let's say 75 of us, just to pick, 88. 88 is a good number. 88 of us. 88 of us from my channels got out. And we met up. I think we would be able to do incredible things together if we wanted to work together as a team. I think it would be amazing. I think this would look like the worst, blackest goo, terrible, miserable, evil, sickening, disgusting sewer matrix shithole of sadistic evil and darkness that outside of this place, it would look horrible. You'd say, why did I ever accept that fucking shit there? Okay? We're not limited. But if a group of us, 88 of us, got outside of this matrix, and there were no other realm, let's say, hypothetically, I don't believe this at all. This is not my model or my theory or what I expect. But let's say, hypothetically, as a thought experiment, it was just darkness, emptiness, the unknown, a void. We could create whatever realms we wanted if none existed. We could create thousands or millions or maybe infinite realms to have adventures and relationships with each other and experiences and intensity and love and real rest. For someone who's suffered with insomnia in this realm, anyone who's had insomnia, you'll know that you want real rest. You want to be able to rest your mind and body and spirit. I'd love to be able to just rest at times. I have a very active mind. I don't know if you can tell by the amount of thousands of videos that I've made, and people kept saying early on, Stephen, you're going to burn out. You're going to run out of ideas. You're going to run out. I'll never run out of ideas. Why am I so confident? I know myself. I know myself. These losers on YouTube preaching stuff like know thyself, like the Oracle of Delphi. I'm not saying that's a bad thing, but I already know myself in intimate ways, deeply, spiritually. I'm not a human being. I walk in eternity. I'm not from this realm. I don't belong here. I'm alien beyond alien to this place, you might say. Look at this image. Bursting with colors and energy. Imagine being able to see your own dreams coming out of you, daydreams coming out of you, out of your being, out of your spirit, and watching them come out of you. I can imagine all sorts of possibilities that don't happen here in this limited shithole sewer matrix hell realm where we are. Look at this image. Look at the peaceful feeling. Imagine peace, feeling, experiencing real peace that you can't have here. That's impossible in this realm. I've only had a taste of it when I've been around death and it bleeding through into this realm from outside. That's the way I describe it. And I remember it decades later. That's how powerful it was. I have a mind. I have a memory. I'm not the same as these creatures that can't remember 3 seconds ago or yesterday. I'm not the same. I have memories that go back into the womb and me as a toddler and taking my first steps and walking and saying good when I was, let's say, between 2 and 3. putting myself to bed, walking upstairs and peeking around the corner into the family room that was sunken at our home and waving goodbye to the family and saying night, night, good night. And my mom couldn't believe it, that I would take myself to bed. I'd put myself to bed. I was that independent. She'd boast. That's one of the things she would boast about, tell people. She'd say, Stephen was just, I didn't have to tell him to go to bed. He was tired, just go up on his own, on my own. When I was ready to go to bed, if I was tired. I expend a lot of energy. Sometimes I go to bed as a child at 7 at night, 7 p.m., not that long after dinner, and watching a little bit of television or something, and sleep till 7 in the morning, 12 hours. My mind uses a lot of energy. If you're nothing like me, then you can't possibly understand, because some people go all day without a thought, without an idea. I don't. I don't know how to describe it to you. There are people that say, how is it possible? Critics of mine say that it's impossible that I've made 2,200 videos, plus the other channels that were taken down. I could make 1 million more videos. They don't understand what I am. And they'll just take that as arrogance and boasting, rather than just me speaking the truth. I could make videos about every single element and every little tiny puzzle piece of this realm. I could make videos studying, analyzing, commenting on, giving my thoughts. I'll never run out of content or ideas. My body will perish long before then. Long before then. That's the way it is. Look at this image. Don't you see the beauty? Well, I do, but I see more than just the beauty. That's the thing. I see more than just the beauty. I can imagine more than just the earthly beauty, if you want to call it that, or the sewer matrix beauty that you see here in this realm. I can imagine beings that are like a dream, where they might have a body that's very dreamlike, where nothing exists here, no person or animal in this realm exists like what I'm thinking of in my mind. It's unlimited. Our imaginations are unlimited. They're infinite. And if you're like me, again, not everyone, I'm not grouping in everyone in this realm at all. At all. But there are some that are eternal beings with infinite imagination. There may be some in this realm that are the same kind of spirit as me, or the same species. There may be. I'm even open to the possibility that some of you that hearing my voice may be in a way spiritually related, like family or a spiritual brother or sister to me. I'm open to that possibility. Now, I don't know that for sure, but it's a possibility. It's a possibility that I'm open to. Okay? I don't know for sure. But I'm in that vein of thought, I'm also open to the possibility that I could be the only one of my kind here, the only one of my species in this realm, or even the only one of my species anywhere that I've found. It's a possibility as well. I can imagine dreaming things into life. Not life being a dream, but dreaming things into life. And saying, I dreamed you into life. I dreamed you into life. I know some people will hate things I said in this video. They'll say he wants to play God, or he's anti-God, or he's a heretic, and that's blasphemous. There's religious people who may come upon this video at some point and have their little comments like that. So be it. Go ahead. Go ahead. I'm going to do what I'm going to do. And I can dream so much better than what exists in this place. This place of lies and suffering, disease, this place of evil demons should not exist. A lot of people settle for this and think, well, what's better? How could it be better? They can't even imagine better than here. They're that limited. They're that degraded. They're that fucked up. Thanks for watching, everyone. I encourage you to dream. Bye for now.